We are on our way to Kentucky in a bit of an overcast, well, it's raining now, rainy day as we leave the GNA, the Greater Northfield area. As we as we head towards Kentucky. I already had 4 people email me today asking if we're going to do videos for last. Of course I'm going to do videos for last night. I was just angry after the last race, no particular reason, not angry at our employees or the horse, obviously, but just angry at the situation. I thought I had a decent night after a rather frustrating day, and I thought that the Sliver horse was in a great spot. I knew when I scored him down, he just wasn't quite as sharp as he was the week before, not quite as on his toes as he was the week previous. So I didn't know how that would play out. I thought he'd got everything his own way on the front end, but when that horse came to call, he called it off. And it's not his fault. I know that'll be affirmed today under scope, and then again, further to that under blood work. I can assure you there's no physical reason for him to stop other than, the obvious. The horse was clearly a little bit under the weather, probably going to find some mucus in that airway. Not the end of the world, he'll bounce back, but as I said, I just wasn't in any shape to go through a day of racing in 2 different places and then have your last race, the one you thought was your best shot of the day, go down in flames. Yeah, I just wasn't in a chipper mood, so I thought it'd be better to make that video today for you guys. So I'm going to go through yesterday. Obviously, we have a lot going on. We're still focused on the Kentucky sale that's upcoming, looking at horses over the next little while. I guess we can't look at them today. Can't look at them till Saturday, but excited, really, really excited for Pickpocket and Memory and Imagination. Didn't draw the best and caught some tough competitors, but that's racing. So we'll get right to it. Cutie Cumber yesterday, she's on her way back to the Meadows. Megan said she thought she had tied up, which is fine, it happens. But we would like to get a couple of wins on her, and going to the Meadow or the Poconos, and it's not to say she's going to come to the Meadows, it's going to be super easy, but clearly struggling a bit of late at the end of her season at the Poconos. As I said, I would like to get that mark on her. We have 3 horses headed to Harrisburg, her being one of them, as she's a full sister to help us on the way. Probably going to garner some looks, I would imagine. And then we have Horn Player, who has had an okay year. I mean, hasn't been a stake filly. When the year started between her and Tactical Mounds, I really would have thought they'd be very, very close. And if you really, really pushed me, especially after that first win at Mohawk out of the 10 I probably would have said Horn Player would have been the better filly this year. Man, was I wrong. But that's the just the smaller, finer points of horse racing. Here you have 2 fillies that are pretty similar at the end of their 2-year-old season, and then so vastly different at the end of their 3-year-old season. Both of them did the work they could, just one could do it a lot better than the other one. So having said that, the breeding on Horn Player is still very strong, and I suspect she'll again get some serious looks. These are fillies that are beautiful, big, strong, good-looking fillies with lots to offer. Cutie Cumber breeding, Horn Player breeding, and then the third filly, not quite as well bred as those 2, I don't believe, but I shouldn't say, much more accomplished than Cutie Cumber and Horn Player, even put together. That's Swinging Senorita, multiple stake winner, a mark of 54 on a 5/8 mile track, wins on every size track. A half and 5/8. And she is going to head to Indiana soon, so could be a win on a 7/8 also. But just a really solid stake performer with some serious pedigree also. Those fillies should be front and center at a live sale, and we will be selling other horses throughout the fall, but they can be sold in an online format. So we'll start with Cutie Cumber, flat, tied up, heading back to us. We're going to race her at the Meadows. The next horse, How the Hell, I always find myself sticking up for him, and I was really mad at myself yesterday. I knew he wasn't awesome yesterday. He'd been really strong, sharp, leading up to the race Mark raced him. Then he made that break, and he was off 2 weeks because of the break at the Meadows. So Tim had taken him in and trained him a little harder and jogged him, I believe. And I just the entire situation heading into yesterday was certainly far from perfect. And he felt good coming off the car. He didn't feel awesome. and I should have just let him fall off the car, and I just chirped him a couple of times coming out of there, and he run, and I'm so mad at myself when I did it, because now that leads to a qualifier. I'm not there Tuesday, so it leads to a qualifier with a driver that doesn't know the horse. So I'm obviously concerned about how that will turn out. Just the entire situation. Just leave him alone. Leave the gate. I should have just left him alone. I was so mad at myself after that race. And again, you're talking about a condition claimer. The horses that bothered me the most yesterday were the horses that are the, our mediocre crew. How the hell? B. Lisa's break. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then the sliver horse at the end, who was just a little bit sick. Those are the ones that bothered me the most yesterday. But again, for various reasons, and just is what it is. So, how the hell made the break? No worse for wear, and I should have known better. That was on me. Completely over at the Meadows, whether it was my lack of not driving for a week or not, but just all three of those races I thought were poorly orchestrated on my part. The first horse, Kevin Johnson, should have been first over, especially when I pull up and find out she was claimed. I just thought, being conservative with her, she's got one run, and I didn't want to use it down the backstretch, and it was just a mistake on my part. Then they had the break of how the hell at the gate again, my fault. And then Tim's third horse, I should have stayed in with that one. So, not a great day at the Meadows by the horses, our horse, or by me. Headed back to Northfield Park, a little chip on my shoulder, a little bit, a little angry. Got to Northfield, and Halakai, here's a filly that looked like she was going to win in 56, 55 last week, and pulled up in the last turn. How would she race? Changed her gear around, and man, she demolished him now. Much slower pace, so to speak, a much slower race. But she was super strong, a 10-length winner, just absolutely wrapped up in 59. I was happy with her. She's got beautiful gait, that filly. One of our astute clients, Tom, had messaged me and said, that Halakai's sibling is in the sale in Lexington. I love you. Not really interested that much in I love you. I wouldn't say I have a problem with them, but I'm just they're not going to be sought after. I guess that's the best way to put it. So probably leave that one where it's at. But really impressed with Halakai last night. As I said, hard to get a full gauge because it was a slower race, but man, there was no issues with her pulling up last night, that's for sure. And then earlier in the afternoon, Brace for Landing just didn't look good. He looked adequate. He looked like he was in, kind of in a tough spot leaving. I'm sure that Matt was protecting him. Ended up 3 wide down the backstretch, and then in the last turn again looked like he was protecting him and didn't have a whole lot finishing up. So is there something bothering him? I don't know, but I think we're probably going to bring him back to the Meadows, where he can race in the winners of 3 but not 5, and then there's a class after that. We still have Mohawk with him also if we want to choose to send him back home, but I think we'll go this route. We'll bring him and Cutie back first and foremost, and see how they perform in the near future. We know there's a tell her I'll call her right back. I know there's some closure coming up with Cutie Cumber regardless, so there is a sense of urgency in that regard. Whereas Brace for Landing, I think this guy, again, he is much more mature. He's a stronger, faster colt, but still nowhere near what he should look like at top speed. As a trainer, when you look at a horse, you see their entire body of work, and you see how they're doing it, and their physicality, their mental acuity. This horse still has a lot to do, and a lot of growing to do. And although the break 2 weeks ago, and now this flat race coming up from yesterday, I'm not super concerned with Brace for Landing. There's no physical issue going on, and it's something we need to tinker with, and we will. If he needs a couple of weeks off, then we'll give him that. But I think Brace for Landing's got some good work ahead for us for sure. Now, Atlas Hanover was good, closing in third in 52-1, I believe. I thought he raced pretty good, not bad. Don't talk about Bruno. I'd said to one of our clients, he said, we got to pay this guy into the Harvest Series. And I was... what's wrong? Yeah, tell her I'll call her in a minute. Ask her when it starts. So we have the Michigan sale today, and Lauren and her parents are coordinating with me. We did come up with some hips that we're looking at. So those of you out there wondering, are we going to the Michigan sale? Obviously, yes, we are. Donnie and Krista are going to be there. Riley, I believe her sister's name is. They're all going to be at the sale. We have some horses that we earmarked that we're looking at. Still don't know a ton of the pedigrees, but we're going to be there. So don't talk about Bruno. I was a little skeptical if he should go to the Harvest Series. He answered that question last night. Absolutely not. I'm not disappointed with him. You know, here's a perfect example. Here you got Crantini, who just flushed so much money down the toilet as a 2-year-old, but still made a lot and was a fast horse. Macho Martini, just a frustrating, ignorant animal, but again, was good at 2 and fast. Both of those horses were fast. And then you got Bruno. Doesn't do anything wrong, kind of slow. So is he going to grow up, fill out? I mean, to be fair to Bruno, let's just rewind and just take a deep breath. Resolute Bay was rather, I was going to say ordinary, but I don't even know if he was ordinary. He was slow at 2 and then ended up being good at 3 and ended up being a very, very nice horse. And I think he's going to be a quality horse for us all fall into the winter of 2024 in spring. So I'm not really going to just say, oh, we got to get rid of him. I don't think so. I think Bruno's got a lot of growing up to do. I do like the fact that he's level-headed. I do like the fact that he does nothing wrong. But I don't like the fact that he's not as fast as the other 2 lunatic brothers. So we're going to have to find maybe a happy medium for Bruno as a 3-year-old. But that's it for him this year. He's all done for the season. Warwick Yuri was disappointing. Very, very disappointing mile from him last night. You know, Mario had said to me after, he hasn't been quite as good since he gets sick at Leamington. You know, this guy just needs a shake-up. You know, you see these horses that, here's a horse with 13 lifetime starts. He doesn't have 30 starts. It's a horse with 13 lifetime starts and no real ailments to talk about. He needs a little shake-up. He's going to make his way over here, and we're going to shake his tree a little bit. He's going to do a little work before he gets to play the tired card. I don't really know what's up with Warwick Yuri. Obviously, really, really disappointing his last 2-3 starts, but he did have a great start to his season. He looked great in that prospect series, and then just kind of fell off a cliff. So we're gonna screw him down tight here at Northfield. I doubt you'll see him race at Northfield, maybe, possibly, but I think he's more apt to like the Meadows or something like that. But again, here's a horse that I've touted from the start, where just wait till he turns 4, you're going to see a much better Warwick Yuri. Man, I wanted to see progression, and I thought I saw it until his last 2 or 3 starts. So whatever took place when he did get sick, he's not really the same horse now. He's not as good. He's not right. Let's see if we can pick him back up. And that's the plan for Warwick Yuri. And then I was very impressed with Coop DeVille. You know, I really didn't think that filly in the 2 could beat me. And I know, looking at the replay, I'm like, geez, if I back in down the backstretch and he has to stay too wide, does he beat me? That horse beat me by 2 lengths with the earplugs in. Fair and square, but Coop DeVille raced very, very good. Really, really impressed with the game she's put together. You know, she's not hot. It was funny because Bruce, I don't even know where Bruce came from. Brett. I don't know how I got Bruce from Brett. Brett said that she was, said she was loose.
Oh.
Brett and loose. Bruce. She was Bruce her last start. Brett said she was loose her last start.
Are you keeping her?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel an urgency to get rid of her because we've already had
her when she was
we had 3 people call looking to buy her, but at that point I had discussed it further with some of the stakeholders in her, and they're like, well, there's no real reason to sell her for that. She can make that, and they were right. She made $12,000 in the final. She made 3 last night. She can win that class at least twice. There's another 12, and then she still has the consolation for 25 there next week. So they were 100% right. And the nice mare, we are going to maximize. The people that called us, actually, one of the people I would like to sell her to was a group of an offshoot group of our clients and a breeding farm that wanted a breeder. That would be ideal for us because I think she's a nice filly. Now, I'm never going to give her away. You know, I think she should be worth $30,000, no problem. Even if we do saturate the remaining part of her racing season, I think she probably is worth 30, and I'm not going to give her away for much less than any at all, to be honest. I think that filly has come a long way, and even I would go as far to say as if we turned her out and brought her back at 4, which I don't want to do, but if we did, I think she could be a nice mare. You know, Globetrotting was slicker than her and stronger than her, but I'm going to tell you what, and clearly faster. not clearly as fast as her, but Coop DeVille has been much more reliable, and she is getting stronger and wider and bigger and bulkier. She's growing up, and she's starting to look really good. Very, very impressed with Coop DeVille last night. Yes, she got beat, but she got beat by a filly that's streaking right now and looked good and got a good trip. Although first over's not a good trip, got to drop right in behind me and pounce on me down the lane. So I'm certainly not worried about Coop DeVille in any way. I thought she raced fantastic last night. B. Lisa, no hobbles on, taking her off the gate. I think the problem I had was one of our clients had said, she needs to go back to the claimers. She was in the claimer last night, just so we're clear. Secondly, that's the class, the claimer class. Secondly, she had washed out quite a bit. They said, it looked like she was in a lather. She was. Did she tie up? I suspect she could have a little bit. I wouldn't say she fully tied up where it was this big number. She could have cramped up. Obviously, you don't want to see a horse finish up with that lather on them. It's not normal, especially for an athlete. So, running in a little bit, I lost her in that turn, but she did trot the last turn good. She did trot down the lane good. Was it because she was bottled up and there's a guy outside me yelling and picking at his horse? Probably all that culminated in that break. But I would like to get her back to the Meadows class if I can find. She's in between. She's a bit of a tweener right now. She's in between where we need her to be, want her to be, and I'd like to find a class where, okay, here's where she can race full time. That class she was in last night, that's a tough bunch. That's the Coop DeVille crew, and although she looked like she could compete, she can't beat, nor does she want any part of Coop DeVille. So we need to find a better place. We need to find a better place for B. Lisa, which we will. And then obviously last night, the Sliver horse, he was sick. And really that's why I didn't make the video last night. I was just angry. We were having a so-so day. I think I was still angry over how the hell and hard on myself the whole day over. And considering he's not a very good horse for us, it really shouldn't bother me that much. I just really do like the horse. And I guess ultimately, risk versus reward, it was a stupid move to even remotely let that horse trot out of the gate with all that was on the line. Me not being able to qualify him next week. I have zero confidence he can qualify Tuesday without me there. And that's not me saying, clearly I'm the reason he's there. But there's just no need of it. There's no need of it. So, still bothering me, as you can tell. Stuff like that really irks me. But I'll get over it. So, that set up a whole day. And I thought, and it's not fair to the horses that race good. Atlas Hanover raced good. Halakai 3 or the 3rd or whatever they call her was awesome. Very, very good. I thought that Coop DeVille was exceptionally good yesterday also. So really happy with those 3 horses. But we did have some horses that raced poorly also. And B. Lisa pitch. When a horse makes a mistake and they come in, they're all lathered up. It's really hard for me to be angry at them. Clearly something is going on. So I'll give her a pass because that's fair. The Sliver horse, gonna have to give him a pass because I know for sure he was sick. Warwi Yuri, that one bothers me. Don't talk about Bruno. I wish he was a little bit better. Wish I was a little taller and a little more money. Doesn't work that way. You can't wish your way into a better horse, but hopefully when we turn him out and bring him back, he will be a much stronger, durable, and effective 3-year-old for us. That's my hope. And then Brace for Landing, we just need to get him back on track. Had a great start when we came back. Those 2 wins at Mohawk, then that second in the Constellation, had a great run, and then literally run last week, and then was flat yesterday. Just need to get this guy back on track. So that's yesterday in a nutshell. But we're all about today. Today we have a ton going on. I'm sure Curtis has missed something. Cupid Express looks like she's in a good spot. First start on Lasix. Back on Lasix. She did bleed a little bit on Mark last week. We'll see how she races today. Spitfire Overseas is 6-5 from the rail, but I do want to see him race good today. I know Ronnie Wren come up, and he remembered Spitfire. He drove him last year, and he goes, "Why wouldn't your brother come and drive this horse?" He's like 6-5. And I said, well, yeah, Mark was a little under the weather and wasn't feeling good, and I'm surprised he said he'd be there Friday, but what are you going to do? If he's sick enough that he can't come on Thursday, then that's that. So Mark's not here today, and Ronnie Wren was very happy to pick up the drives on Cupid Express, Spitfire Overseas. I talked to Brady quickly about I Forbid You and said, listen, Major Megan is handy. She's probably going to cut it. She's probably going to, she's going to be okay. This filly's actually a better filly, but she's a coward. So if you can work her up a way where she can be in striking position without using her too hard, she can win this class. So both those fillies have shots in there. Unique style. Second start for us, coming in, looking good. I think this horse has got a real shot. And then we got Pickpocket, Memory and Imagination today, Five Fish Species, Divine Zet, or Zeti, I don't really know how to say that name, tonight. And then we got Mounds for All, and finally in a racing and an overnight. So we have a pretty stacked card today. It's gonna be nice to get down to Kentucky today. We can't look at any horses. Get down to Kentucky today. Look at the horses. We do have that thing with Bob Brady. I'm gonna call him and see if it's just fish. I'm not going.
Tonight.
Yeah, it's 28th. It's tonight. Yeah. So the Lexington sales season starts right now. You know, I am a little surprised, to be honest, that buckets have moved a little slower. Maybe people aren't interested in Lexington. I don't know. I mean, the good thing about being here on the ground and talking to all our clients and having a good dialogue with you is understanding what we can and can't do. And that's why the buckets are important. They're a barometer of what I can and can't do. So, if I have to adjust, I'll adjust. But at the same token, I appreciate everybody reaching out and everybody being involved. I thought the Ohio sale went great, and I expect this sale to go great too. We're having a good year, a very good year on the track. We had a good year so far at the sales. This is a very complicated time of year, but excited about the week ahead. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I turned a short update into a 22-minute video. That's the way it is. We'll talk to you all very soon from Kentucky.